Hey guys, hope you're having an amazing day. I just wanted to pop in here because I'm getting this feeling that there's a lot of women in this group that really want to start a business, really want to build an online brand, but they don't quite feel ready. Or I remember when I was first starting out, I actually went to start a few different businesses before I started Guest Supply, and I remember that feeling of not feeling good enough, not feeling like I could do it because there was other people out there doing similar things to me. At first I wanted to be a personal stylist and a fashion stylist, and there's other people doing similar things, and I was comparing myself to other people. I was thinking, oh well, there's somebody out there that already has all the clients, they already have a website, they already have a following. Like, who am I to do this? And so I wanted to come on here and I wanted to share with you my story or my journey of where Yes Supply actually started and how it got to where it is now. And I want to share this with you to show you that I just didn't pop up poof out of thin air and was able to travel around the world and, work from Yes Supply on my laptop or bring in high level clients. Like, it did not start that way. I started at zero. So if you are in this group right now, you're watching this and you're at zero, you don't have a following yet, you don't have a website yet, you don't have any of that stuff yet, that is not a good enough reason to stop you, because the only way you're going to get to the place where you want to be is if you take steps to get started. Actually, this, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this picture right here, it says the secret to getting ahead is getting started. And that picture, that quote, I had by my coffee machine every single morning when I would wake up, when I was still working at my retail job and I couldn't stand it anymore. And that was a big thing that kept me motivated before I even knew that motivational websites existed or anything like Guest Supply existed. So essentially, you just have to get started. So essentially, a lot of people right now, they're starting businesses and they're thinking, oh my God, I need to already have 5-figure months, or I need to already have a ton of clients, or I need to already have 10,000 followers. Actually, one of my most recent clients, before she signed up, we were talking and she already had a great online following, and she was thinking, oh, I need to get to 10K before I start making money. And we worked together, and within 3 weeks she started making money from her business. And it's not about the followers. It's not about your something that you don't have or what somebody else has. You can start exactly where you are. You can follow what makes you excited, what makes you happy, follow your passion. And from that, when you follow what makes you happy, when you follow what feels good to you, that's essentially how you create a business or an online brand that is aligned to letting you be the person who you want to be, letting you do the things that you want to do. So when I first started Yes Supply, I essentially started it as a blog. I didn't know anything about online business. I didn't know anything about email lists and funnels and membership sites, and all that stuff didn't exist to me yet. I only knew that there was blogs. I actually started my blog on Blogger, and if any of you guys are watching this right now, don't start your blog on Blogger. Start it on WordPress, please, or maybe Squarespace, but I prefer WordPress. But I started it off on Blogger, and I literally just started writing about the things that I always thought, but I never really said out loud. So how I thought that, how people treat you a lot of the time is a reflection of themselves. It's not a reflection of you, and not to take things personally if somebody's mean to you, because it's a lot of the time it's them projecting themselves on you. Or I talked about believing in yourself, or I would talk about health, because I just saw so many people filling their bodies with terrible food that shouldn't even be labeled as food. And that's where I started off. I started off really with not a lot of direction, but just knowing that I wanted to create a positive impact in the world, a positive impact on women. And myself, I had sort of a tumultuous growing up experience in my teenage years, and so I wanted to sort of be a beacon of hope and show people that you can have, setbacks, you can have obstacles, you can have negative people in your life, and you can still get through it. That's why I started Yes Supply. And a big part of it too was when I was working at my retail job, I was surrounded by so many talented, creative, ambitious women who wanted to start their own businesses, and I myself wanted to as well. And so many of us were thinking, oh, well, I can't do it because I don't know how, because I don't have the resources, because I don't have the money, because I don't have the time. So I set out on sort of investigation to find out these women who have created their yes, these women who have created an amazing life, what do they know or what do they have that the rest of us don't? And when I started to interview these women that I was interviewing at the beginning of Yes Supply, I realized that they're not that different than you and me. They're ambitious, they are creative, they want to create a life of their own design, doing the kind of thing that they want to do, but the only difference between them, the one who were successful, and the girls who were like me when I was just starting out, was the fact that they went after it by any means necessary. If somebody told them no, they asked someone else. If a door closed, they knocked on another door. And so that showed me that if you wanted to be successful, you just had to keep trying even when it didn't seem like it was going to work. And that is the message for Yes Supply. Only take yes for an answer. If somebody tells you no, and somebody tells you it's not going to work out, that's their problem. If somebody can't see your vision for what you want to create, it's because it's not their vision, it's your vision, and it's up to you to see it through to reality. To see that vision in your head, that dream, that idea, it's up to you to see it through to reality. Nobody can do it for you. Your friends can't do it for you, your mom can't do it for you, your boyfriend can't do it for you, your manager can't do it for you. Nobody can create the opportunities for you that you truly want. You have to go after them. And so when I figured that out, I started to take the next step. I continued to build Yes Supply. I continued to build it as a community. I wasn't yet worried about how do I make money, how do I get clients, none of that. That it was almost a blessing that I didn't know that this whole world existed yet, because it might have been really anxiety inducing for me, you know, seeing all these other people bring in clients and I wasn't bringing it in yet. I was just growing it out of something that I truly loved. And I think if you're getting overwhelmed right now or stressed out, or you're comparing yourself, you're looking at other people who are really successful online, don't compare yourself, because they had to start at zero. So you need to kind of go back to, where am I right now? What feels good to me? How can I follow my passion? How can I do what feels really good so that I'm creating a business or an online brand that feels really good? And now when I started to see a lot of emails and messages come in from people who were saying that Yes Supply was changing their life, and Yes Supply was inspiring them to create their art or build their business or build their blog or stop procrastinating, and I was only doing it a few hours a day after work, that's when I realized, okay, I have to monetize this. Not necessarily just for the money, but it was because if I'm already making an impact and I am only doing it 3 days a week, or 3 hours a day, I mean, imagine what I could do if I had full time, all week, all day, all night to work on it. Imagine what kind of impact I could create. And so what I want to say to you is, you can make an impact. You can make an impact starting at where you are right now. Think back to areas in your life, things that you've overcome, right? Have you overcome maybe a negative relationship? Have you learned something? Maybe you straight aced your SATs. You can teach people that, right? Maybe you are the most organized person in your friend group and you can teach people how to organize their closets and look pristine. Think about the things that you do when you're procrastinating. What do you do in your spare time other than, you know, scrolling Instagram or something like that? Like, what do you do in your spare time that's valuable, that you can truly help people? Those are the sorts of things that you can start to do to create value in other people's lives. And so when I realized that I was starting to make an impact and help people, and I also had started to build a community, a lot of people are asking me, how did you build your community? And so that's when I started off with my social media calendars. You might have seen them. They're these 12-month social media calendars, and I put all the fun social media days like, you know, National Cupcake Day, Coachella, celebrity birthdays, all those things. That was the very first thing that I monetized in my business. It was a physical calendar, and a lot of the time when I got an order, I was selling on Etsy and I was selling on my website. A lot of the time when I would get an order, I would actually get a lot of anxiety because I was having to print out this calendar, package it up in an envelope, put a postcard in it, put a little thank you note, and then take it to the mailbox. And it was a lot of work, and I realized, oh my gosh, by the time I do all this work, I'm not making as much money as I would need to actually be able to one day leave my job. Plus, I was feeling really, really guilty about all of this paper waste. So what I did was I stopped selling physically and started selling digitally, and that opened up my eyes to, oh my god, I can start selling digital products. And I essentially, somebody makes an order, they instantly get an email with their order, and I instantly get more money in my bank account. Like, what is this magic, right? And so that was my first sort of leap into online business. And then from there, I always had this idea in my head to share my morning rituals, because a lot of people would ask me, like, how do you stay so motivated? How do you stay so positive? How do you stay so focused and on top of everything? I always thought about sharing my morning ritual that had changed my life, which is Good Morning Beautiful, but I was scared, I was nervous that like nobody else would get it, no one would understand it, everyone would think my morning rituals were weird. And finally one day I was frustrated, I was still working at my 9 to 5, I was like, what is the answer? Like, how do I finally make this happen? I had so much fear that nobody was going to be interested in it, and I took the leap. Actually, my fiance was like the last like push. He was like, just freaking do it, stop talking about it. And sometimes you need people in your life, you need business besties to just give you that last little push, right? And so I put up a landing page, and on the first day someone bought it, and I was like, I was surprised that somebody bought it, but I was like, well, I guess I have to start writing them now, right? Because somebody's made a purchase. And for the first little bit, I think for a week, I was writing for just one person. I was like, okay, I got to start selling this. So I'm not just writing for one person. So from there, I went from single digital product to reoccurring revenue digital product. And then I continued to respond to my community. I continued to respond to my audience. Next, they were asking me, how did you build your community? And so I used the platform that I was using to sell the email subscriptions. I started to use that to share social media and online business and online presence advice, and that's how it became the Collective, which used to be called the Insiders. That was the first name for it. I couldn't think of a name that was perfect. I knew that the name Insiders wasn't perfect, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what I wanted it to be, and so I realized that I needed to share my message. Sharing my message was much more important than just figuring out the perfect name, right? And how often do we get stuck on picking that perfect name or picking that perfect color or picking that perfect font, right? It's those little things that can keep you stuck for months. But I decided, nope, I'm not waiting. I wanted to share this message, and so I pushed forward with the Insiders. And so I grew the Insiders, I continued to promote it, I continued to bring in amazing, incredible women who are in the Collective today to the state, and it was really exciting, it was really amazing. And from there, actually one day I was sitting at my desk and the word Collective just like popped into my head out of nowhere. I had a streak of inspiration. So sometimes the inspiration will come to you, especially when you're calm and you're doing something that you enjoy. You're allowing your subconscious mind to be opened up to sort of that higher intelligence, that source energy that's going to send you a lot of incredible inspiration to help you continue to grow your business and continue to grow your brand and help you do things that you love and that you really enjoy. And so from there, people started to reach out to ask me how I did it, how I grew my membership site, how I grew my online community, how I built a website, and that's how I started to get more clients. Also, I had a really big online brand reach out to me to ask me to write articles on mindfulness and a little bit of health stuff and sort of a mix in between, right? So essentially start where you are, and from there I had, my clients that I didn't charge as much. I started off charging clients a couple $1,000s, and from there I grew to charging clients $3,500 and to $5,000, and that's how it starts, guys. Like, you can start where you are, and what's going to happen is if you follow the things that you enjoy doing, you're going to feel really good about everything that you do. You're going to feel really good when you sell things because you're going to feel really confident about what you're selling, what you're putting out there, because you know that you can do this, right? If you don't believe in your product or you're trying to be something that you're not, it's going to come through. It's going to come through in your ads, in your promotions, in your webinars, in your sales conversations. It's going to come through. So what you want to do is don't be something that you're not. It's not fun. It's stressful. It's overwhelming, and you'll be scared that you're going to get caught, right? Be exactly who you are, and what's going to happen is you're going to have so much more fun doing it. You're going to be able to be yourself, and what's going to happen is eventually you're going to start to get paid to be who you are, which is essentially your yes, right? Like you're able to quit your job and do what you want, and work when you want, and travel where you want, and just essentially get to be who you are. So what I'm urging you to do is don't stress about being something that you're not. Don't stress that there's other people out there doing something similar. I remember once I got on a call with somebody who wanted to be traveling yoga instructor. She was already traveling and yoga instructor. She wanted to make digital courses about yoga, and she said, "Oh well, Yoga Girl already has 1 million followers." But that's not a negative thing. The fact that there's somebody else out there with 1 million followers, that's proof that there's 1 million people who are interested in yoga, and that's proof that there are people that when you put yourself out there, when you start to connect and you start to help people, there are 1 million people that chances are want what you have to offer. And don't forget, there are billions and billions of people in the world. There's more than enough people for you to help. There's more than enough people for you to serve. You don't have to serve everyone, you know? You don't have to go out there. You're not going to coach Marie Forleo tomorrow, right? Like, you're not going to sell your website designs to, I don't know, the LA Lakers or something like that tomorrow, right? You're going to start helping the people who are just a couple steps behind you, and that's okay. You're going to start to help the people who are needing what you have to offer. Those people are out there, but what I urge you to do is to be yourself, show up as yourself, show up for your audience, show up for the people who need you, because the people are there and you can truly help them, and you can have a lot of fun doing it too. So I hope that this inspired you. I hope that it helped you. If you have any questions on how to start building your own business, being exactly who you are, exactly where you are, just leave them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them. So have a great day, guys.